This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC. I have the pleasure of bringing to the podcast Tessa Arnold by way of Ocean City and South Florida. She is a banker converted to a Halo evangelist. So Tessa, welcome to your first Halo Talks.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. Love it.
Awesome. So, you started off in banking like myself and many of us. So talk about how that lifestyle and career kind of led you to say, hey, time out, I'm going to pivot.
Right. Banking was fantastic. To be homegrown in banking and really dive into, in my 20s, early 20s, into commercial banking, I don't think there was a better place to grow up. I mean, as I'm sure, it gets you going. There's structure, keeps you grounded. You're learning core values like networking and building rapport with people and kind of learning drinking from a fire hydrant. I think it was fast paced and burning the candle both ends and trying to start a family. And it was dynamic and it was great. And I'll tell you, I keep up with those connections regularly. And I met a lot of amazing people, but I was in banking for 12 years and I had really set up a pretty significant career that I was very proud of in banking. And it was very structured and it was very reliable. And there was a projection of growth and all the things. And at the end of the day, I'd wake up and I'd be like, there's something else. There's something else.
So when you had that itch of something else, and obviously you had a lot of trade-offs to make,
right?
From financially,
right.
As well as networking standpoint. I left banking and private equity and start up an internet company, and then when I decided to come back to banking, I kind of had to go, take two steps backwards to go forwards again.
Right.
So what led you to the conviction that you wanted to do something different? And did you do a lot of research to figure out, hey, what am I going to do next? Or did it kind of naturally evolve?
Yeah, it did. Organically and naturally, it did evolve. And I'd have to say, things were happening in my personal life, sort of imploding from the inside out, where I was like, I was making it more challenging. And I came to a place where I relied on my work. My work was consistent. My work was stable. It felt good. I knew what I was going to get. I knew my place. I had appreciation, the attention that I needed. I could put the attention on stuff. So I'd have to say that was probably the most difficult to leave when life can be so chaotic and unknown. When you know what you're walking into every day, that's fine. But that's also complacency. And complacency are where dreams go to die. And I have to say that I was shifting in such a way that I was unbalanced with how much I was working and then what I was putting into my family. I mean, I was giving on all cylinders, family, partner, work, this, and nowhere in that equation was I showing up. Where was the stuff for me? Where were the things that were so fundamentally important to me? I mean, I honestly can't tell you what I did through those 12 years that made my soul happy. It's like, there wasn't any one thing that I was like, no, I carved out, an hour a day for my, whatever it was at that time that made me happy. I was losing myself bit by bit, day by day. And I knew that I couldn't continue on at the same pace. And that started to really weigh on me, where I sort of slowly decided that I was going to have to take a leave, not knowing if I was going to go back or not. Ultimately, I took my leave. I moved my children across the country. I was going through a divorce at the time. It was a lot of dynamic parts, supporting my partner with health issues. He had started a business that I was supporting him on. So there were so many different things, I'd say catalyst within this that were just like, and you're almost chaotic. You're like, what do I do? What do I do? But you're just putting one foot in front of the other. So I have to say it was a complete journey getting to the point where I woke up that one morning and I'd even gone back to banking because it was what I knew. So I'd taken some time off, went back for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
But by that point, I was a different person. I had taken time off. I had taken time and started to implement some things to take care for myself. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm a little bit more aware now of what I need to do to support myself. This is not for me. And that still took 2 years for me to totally disconnect from it because it was, my safe harbor. And I truly did not know. I knew I was going to put everything into my business, SnapBack Energy, as a co-founder and chief operating officer, but I did not know what that was going to look like. And it was terrifying.
Sure. I worked in banking, and for 3 years, it just became normal to work 7 days a week. And you're like my one bonus was like I'd rollerblade to the office on like a Saturday or Sunday, in Manhattan. And that was like the only thing for me. And they talk about now in some of these big banks that you have, like weekends where, you're not allowed to use your cell phone or log into the system. I'm shocked that actually exists, because the job is so 24/7 that you remember I talk in my sleep a lot. So like my significant other at the time was like, what are you talking about? Some like plastics company, like talk about plastic bags in the middle of the night. Like, is this safe to be, in bed with you? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working on this plastics deal.
You're like, it's a deal I'm working on.
Plastic bags for like Walmart or something. And it gets so infused in you that you can't really take a step out of it, because it's all that you do. So I hear you 100% on that. I'm hoping that the bankers now, with all the focus on, mental health and not burning out, I hope some of those programs are working. But I still see people that I know that, basically you can't get off the hamster wheel, because your lifestyle and your expenses have increased to the point where it's hard to replicate. So talk about SnapBack, and there aren't that many other businesses where you can make the amount of money at a young age,
right?
As you do in banking, and also people that are 25, 30 years older than you, you're basically like sitting in the room,
right,
and just absorbing all that information.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's just the synergies too. And I have to say it was hard, because financially, when you have that stability, but it's also, and I just want to take a step back, because you said something that's so important. I know with the companies that I was working with, the large, global firms, they were definitely pushing out to us wellness, overall wellness, well-being, balance. But when you've been in it so long, it's hard to step away from it. And it is 24 hours. And we also have the inability sometimes to see that our presence is stretched to so many different things, because we live in a world now where we are constantly bombarded by stimuli. So we stay in the sympathetic nervous reaction, and there's so many, and that's where the coaching really gets involved. You have to step away from it. But you're exactly right. The companies, I think today, 2024, are doing a lot more and bringing in coaches and programs so people can truly understand what that looks like to find balance in your life. But that's where SnapBack came on board, family owned and operated. And it really is a passion of mine. It's a supplement that you take daily, and it has all the good stuff. It was funny. I was talking with my partner earlier, and he was like, he has a cold that he's been struggling with, and he was taking some just like all of these different supplements. And I was like, well, SnapBack has all of those. Did you take your SnapBack this morning in our patented formula? And he was like, yeah, I did. And I did a pre-workout. So it's a great way to love your body so your body can love you back. And there's not a lot of supplements on the market that are patented and have what we have, which is an isolated patented formula that specifically supports your liver. And the liver supports over 500 functions in the body. So why wouldn't you want to show it some love? It needs it. It's pretty magical. It's the only self-regenerating apart from the skin, and it's the second largest apart from your epidermis. So why wouldn't you want to show it some love?
So when you wanted to develop that, how did you go about doing that as an entrepreneur? Did you have a consultant that was on the, scientific, or did you go to an outsourced manufacturer? Talk about some of the steps you took, given you were in banking and you know how to do due diligence, and you know that there's a process to everything.
Absolutely.
How did you kind of lay out the blueprint for yourself?
Well, I think it helped my background in banking because I was a project manager. So to get to step A, all the way to fruition, I knew how to take it very methodically and figure out who I needed to reach out to and bring in and connect with people and bring in partnerships. So that I could do. So then working with my team at SnapBack and bringing in a food scientist and going through definitely a ton of variations and developing our formula to what it is today was an incredible learning process. And I couldn't have done it without the team, especially our food scientist who helped us work there. And then all of the input from the rest of the very lean team that we have based on their food knowledge and then just customer knowledge. So absolutely. I mean, I brought in the best that I could to help formulate this. And then I myself went and worked with the team to push through and get the patent, which took us 3 tries to get. And when I say 3 tries, that doesn't sound like much, but there were about 8 months in between each try where you're waiting to see what the board is going to come back with, the patent officer, and how they're just going to poke holes in it, as they should. It's a patented, you're patenting what you say that you can do with this supplement, and we stand behind that. And I like to say we're as close as you get to magic, to making you feel really good. But yeah, I was ready to give up on that last try. I was about to just, throw in the towel and say no, but I've been pretty gritty my entire life, with the cards that have been dealt to me, and not to compare, just any trauma to anybody else, but it's set me up for independence and grittiness. And when I set my mind to something, it's going to get done.
So a lot of people that set up companies, whether it's product, service, food, it's mostly based on the brand and the patent protection. If you get patent protection, you basically have to enforce it, which costs a lot of money legally. It's not just a cease and desist letter, and people are just going to behave. So what brought you to, one, believe that the patent, would actually be a real protection given the
Right.
cost of what it gets to go through, and how the brand and the patent kind of meld together to give you a real competitive advantage?
Absolutely. So I'll take the second question actually first, because that's where I started with it. It was the authenticity behind what we state that we can do within our product itself. And I believed in the formula, the patented formula, so much so, and the combination not having been seen before, that I knew that I wanted that. I didn't need to get it. I wanted it in a way that it spoke for itself, and it stood on its own 2 legs to say, not only do we have this formula and I'm telling you that it's going to make you feel really good, and you're going to try it and you're going to feel really good and you're going to send the feedback, but so does the patent office. So that was the first step. Secondly, as far as enforcing it, yes, that is a much lengthier, longer, expensive process. And we're in the process of it and working with our attorneys. And, you just decide you're going to send the cease and desist letters, you're going to have the conversations, you're going to continue to do the reviews, and that you can do, but you stand by your brand ethos too. We've built such a following with SnapBack and our subscriptions of people ordering it on a monthly basis that, yes, others can try and emulate, and imitation is the most serious form of flattery, but nobody's going to be able to create what we have in such a way. So yes, we'll continue to chase those that do try, but at the same time, we're continuing to expand, and we will potentially have our 3rd flavor out this year, which is even an additional growth into what we do in such a beautiful way with the Ayurvedic work that I do as well, that I don't know that they know that where we're going to go next and won't be able to keep up.
So just sticking on the patent side, what do you actually have patent protected?
Yeah, so we have our patented formula. So it's a 5-ingredient formula within our proprietary blend that is patent protected.
Gotcha. And have you had to enforce it?
Yes. No, okay. We have not had to, we have not had to enforce it yet. We have had reviews of other products that have come out, but it's been minimal. But no, with the exact combination of what we have within the patent, we have not had to really go into legal action per se with companies. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of supplements out there. They're not patent protected.
Right.
They might be pixie dust. We don't know, right? When you think about pricing your product, given that you come from banking and you work really well in an Excel spreadsheet,
yes.
And if I could take price, I could do a lot of things, beneficially with that, and not be, the low cost producer of an awesome patent protected product. Right. So how did you think about the pricing model, and how do you think about recurring memberships or purchases and subscribers? And why do you think the way that you do?
Mhm.
Can you harken it back to a deal you worked on, or, a project that you work on and said, look, this is a business model I want. Now that I have this product, I'm going to kind of put it into this business model.
Yeah, I mean, I can say definitely from my background in commercial banking, having dealt with products, that was extremely beneficial. And looking at the bottom line and the ROI, so the return on our investment there, of course, that's definitely where the conversation is going to start. But more so, being a mother and being of two and providing for myself and my family and being within the wellness space, I knew how much money I would spend on something. Goodness, I spend more on my dog supplements sometimes than I spend on mine.
Right.
So, right, there's definitely a passion that moves you to purchase. And for me, but it also had to be something that when I look at the demographic of those that purchase our product and the large range of ages that purchase it too, I knew that people are going to be in different circumstances and situations where they could be budgeting what they're spending on a wellness supplement or a daily supplement. But you also have to take into consideration, which I did, is that you're minimizing multiple supplements that you're taking by just taking Snapback. So right there, it's very cost effective. And I did a lot of, I'd say, pilot study on what's out in the market today. So those were a lot of the factors that I broke down the price points as it relates to Snapback in itself. And, we include shipping, we have free shipping if you're getting into the 30 pack, which is going to last you for those 30 days, sometimes even longer, depending on how often you're taking it. And we have the free shipping when it goes to that. And it's very competitive, in the $50 price point range. And then we drop that in half when you're looking at the 10 pack box to really try it. So it was very competitive as it relates to others in the marketplace, but still a return in our investment when we talk about packaging, shipping, all of the costs that go into this too. Because, right, the money that we take back in, we are still in our infancy, I'd like to say. We're still under that 5-year mark. We're even under the 4. We're just in the 3-year mark of being out in the public. And we're doing well enough that we've extended and we've gone from grape now to our second flavor, which is orange, to our third flavor. All of that money comes back into the business. We are veteran owned and operated, as well as women owned and operated. So we do give 2% back to our first responders and veterans every year.
Oh, great.
Based on the money we've received. The veterans and the programs that we work with are near and dear to us. Just having veterans on the team, it's an incredible experience. I would say for those business owners and entrepreneurs out there, go out there, connect with your local veteran groups and first responders and all of that. See what you can do within the community and see who you can hire on board, because it's an incredible experience.
Before we close out here, just, talk about being a wellness lifestyle coach. Talk about how many clients you can take on, and how you help diagnose, the root issue that
Mhm.
someone's dealing with.
Absolutely. So I specialize in Ayurvedic health and lifestyle coaching, and I like to call it guiding too. Innately, we have the wisdom within inside of us, but it's been so bogged down with all of the stimuli outside of us that we can't connect back to it. And I think that's been part of the journey in leaving commercial banking, was understanding how to find my own balance and fulfillment in life. Once I was able to find that, such an amount of peace just came flooding into my life in such a beautiful way, year over year through the journey, that it's now it's cultivated this incredible, life that I have around me that's become almost magnetic. And I think anybody can do that, absolutely, if they're willing to do the work. And the work, simply put, is the work of themselves, going within, having the courage to do that, because it's not for the faint of heart. Taking a hard look at yourself, taking a hard look at your life. And that's not doing a deep uprooting of everything. Absolutely not. And that could mean that being in commercial banking is the best thing for you, but we've got to find the balance so everything is at its best, right? So there's no point in having longevity if the quality of life is not there. And that's what I absolutely specialize in, but it's not dealing systematically with symptoms. So, you come to me and you have the anxiety, or you have the fatigue, or the feeling of loss, or it could be the nutrition, any of the 6 pillars of health, truly, and we'll break it down into what's really going on and help you determine what you need to, because everybody's path is different, to find the balance. And what you'll find is then more moments of stillness where you can really tap into your creative genius and then see all the things that you can create within your life. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
That's amazing. And how many clients do you take on at a time?
Yeah. So right now I'm working with 3 clients. I will take on up to 7 clients at a time now it's a journey that we walk on together. We have at least 6 sessions with an intro session. And then we do our first, 15-minute, 30-minute, just get to know each other to make sure that, it's the right fit and you're feeling good, which is great. And they can all find that information at thebalanceofyou.com. Where you can find all of this guiding and kind of mentorship. There's business breakthrough sessions, life breakthrough sessions, building a meditation practice, which is really scary for a lot of people. It's the most incredible gift. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Give yourself the gift of building up a practice of stillness so you can really connect with yourself again, because you embody that and bring that out to others. And I do that. I choose, the 7, 6 to 7, because I put a lot of energy into this, and I come to you a lot of times, right, to listen, so I can hear what you're saying, and it can exhaust you quite a bit, because I am just really that guide for you who has a totally objective, right, just helping you find your own path. So I like to not get too overwhelmed. But as the team grows, we'll take on additional clients. Yeah, we'll do webinars and YouTube video. We're really working on the webinar area right now, and then potentially hoping to have a book out, which I like. It's like I always play around and joke, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This will be like more the human guide to being human, just in a few simple steps.
Sounds like you have the authority to write that book at this point. So, so in closing, any good quotes that you live by, or Tessa-isms that people, hear from you?
Yes, there's so many. There's so many. There's 2 that I'll share that I heard. There's one that I heard most recently, and one that I love. And I'd say the first one is, are you getting what you're getting? Or are you getting what you want from life? So think about that. Are you stuck just taking in what you're being offered, and that's what it is, and you're sort of sleepwalking almost in a robotic sense through life? Or are you the agent of your life, and are you living it? And second to that, to make that first step is not to do it without fear, but it's to be courageous enough to do it in the face of fear.
That's awesome.
I think that's FDR who might have said that. So
we're going to practice some stillness tonight and tomorrow.
Good. You should.
I don't really spend much time still, so I'll see how that goes for me.
Yeah, go for a walk. If you go for a walk just on your own, take out the earbuds, put the phone somewhere where you do not have it on your body. You don't have to just sit somewhere, but anywhere that you can just find the opportunity to not have anything demanding your attention or ready to take your attention anytime. You go from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system. That's homeostasis and that's balance. And we don't go there often as we should. So try.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad we connected. Dave, thanks for setting this up. Just been impactful for me, as well as just a podcast discussion. So thank you.
Good.
And
absolutely,
we will we'll get the patented supplements around our network when you're ready for more distribution. And congrats on making the move that some people talk about but never do. And I'm sure you've helped more people than you know along the way.
Thank you.